Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, first of all, as with every other week, if I haven't got to your question this week, I'm very sorry. I film these normally on about a Wednesday or a Tuesday. So if I've missed your question, just ask it below and I promise I will get to it the following week. Also, I kind of just answer these questions off the cuff. So if a question I think needs a longer answer, I'll probably do it as a separate video. But with that all being said, there's some great questions this week by the looks of it. I've had a bit of a skim through, so we're going to get straight into it. Thank you once again for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And without further ado, let's go on to this week's Q&A. So the first question is by Stephen Peters, who says, "Hi Craig, I think it's been 3 years this week since the first Magic TV post. So happy 3rd anniversary. Bloody hell, really. I know your plans were modest at first, but was there any part of you that were thinking that someday it would grow into something like this? Congratulations." No, I mean, you say something like this, it's 16, 17,000 subscribers, which is great. But you know, it's not like Lloyd Barnes or Chris Ramsey, and it never will be. That's not the audience for this channel. The whole idea of this channel is to provide a plethora of content that I would enjoy watching if I was new in Magic. If I didn't do this YouTube channel and I was searching for a YouTube channel, this would have the sort of content that I like on it. Now, here's the thing. You might not agree with everything that I say, and that's absolutely fine. I wouldn't expect you to. You probably don't want to watch all the content I put out, and that's absolutely fine. But I aim to put out the content that I enjoy. And if you gravitate towards that, whether it's a review show or a viewpoint or a rant or some of the advice videos or whatever it may be, then that's amazing, and that's the intention. It was really just set up in lockdown, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. You know, I set it up in lockdown. I think I've mentioned this before. Rylan was bored. He loved Magic. He had nowhere to go, nothing to do. He couldn't perform Magic to everybody or anybody. So we set a review show up, and me and Rylan started doing a review show. And we filmed one episode in my office at home. And then he said, "Hey, let's do another one." So we did another one, and that grew into other types of videos and other types of videos, and before I knew it, I was doing a ridiculous schedule, and I just can't seem to stop. And I will continue to do it as long as people continue to want to watch it. The second that people go, "You know what, I don't want to watch this anymore," that's when I call it a day. But as long as you guys enjoy the content, I'll carry on putting it out there. And I didn't realize it was a 3rd anniversary, but thanks very much. The next question is from Magic James, and he says, "Question, there looks to be many options for flippers and split coins. Recommendations for coin gimmicks in US currency. Thanks a million, Craig." I'm going to be biased and say that the Mirage coin set's great. It's made in half dollars. There will be a dollar size coming soon. Oh my God, did I just give away a spoiler? I think I might have. There'll be a dollar size coming soon because that's been requested an awful lot, but currently it's available in half dollar size. The Mirage coin set has a lot going for it because it's got a updated style of flipper. It's also got a shell in there. It's also got a whole bunch of other gaffs as well, and there's all the routines. So that's a great beginner sort of set. I also like Apparition for various different reasons. But outside of that, recommendations for coin gimmicks in US currency, the 3 main ones for me are the flipper coin, the shell, and the split coin. I think that the split coin is a massively underutilized gimmick. Many years ago, I put a DVD out called Split Happens, and I think there's so much you can do with the split coin. I know that there's a lot of triple split coins and things that have come out since then, but I still think that, you know, forget about all the split focuses and all these other weird and wonderful gimmicks. The original split coin, there is so much you can do with it. And I think the problem is what a lot of producers are doing is they're bringing out their version of the super triple coin or the super triple split double coin. And they're not focusing on the most important thing, which is routining. They're bringing these coins out and they're not really putting any routines with them. And I really think that somebody should put out a split coin project and should bring out a really well-made version of the original split coin, maybe with a couple of variations, but then a massive plethora of routines. I think that that's something that somebody should do at some point soon. I don't really get on with the TUC coin. A lot of people like it. I'm not too keen on that, but a lot of people really like it. Outside of that, there's a lot you can do with a Scotch and soda or a coin unique, depending on which way you look at it. Sun and moon coins and copper silver coins are also good. But in terms of your classic gimmicks, I'd say it's a flipper coin, split coin, or a shell. So there you go. Hopefully that answers your question, James. So the next question is Magic Human, and Magic Human says, what would you say are the best tricks for street magic? Well, really, it kind of comes down to your character. I mean, what type of street magician are you wanting to be? Are you wanting to go for sort of the David Blaine style or the Dynamo style, or are you wanting to go for like more of a shock type thing, like like Hook or something like that? What sort of character are you wanting to portray? Or are you talking street magic in terms of the traditional street show, like Gazzo or Cosmo, or Nathan Earl or somebody like that? What type of street magic are you going for? I'm guessing you're talking about sort of more of a David Blaine hit and run style street magic. In which case, what I tend to suggest, if you've not really got a style worked out, I tend to suggest that you go for really visual, quick magic that just grabs people's attention. You could do a lot worse than going back and looking at the first David Blaine specials. Because here's what's happened is over the years it's evolved and it's evolved and it's evolved, and tricks have become more crazy and more elaborate, and every single time somebody comes out and does street magic, they want to one up themselves. But you look at a lot of the magic that David Blaine was doing in those first specials, the ambitious card, the 2-card transpose, stuff like that, that was killing people dead. That was dropping them dead. And the reason it was is because it was very easy to understand. It was quick, it was visual, and a lot of the time the magic happened in the hands of the spectators. And I think if you're wanting to do successful hit and run style street magic, that's what you have to go for. You have to go for stuff that's really sort of in the hands, visual, and easy to understand, and ideally organic. So for example, using one of my own products that I think would work really well with this sort of magic is Chop, because you could literally say, hey, can I borrow a coffee cup? Can I borrow a dollar bill? Brilliant. I'm going to show you something incredible with this dollar bill and this coffee cup. And the routine builds and builds and builds, and then a lemon appears, and now the bill's inside the lemon, and oh my God, this is crazy, right? So something like that, where something happens almost immediately. It's super visual. It's happening in their hands. It's using their own objects. That sort of stuff is perfect. Sinful, for me, is one of the best street magic style routines you'll ever see. Sinful by Wayne Houchin is incredible. If you don't know what that is, it's a coin that penetrates into a sealed can of soda. That's right, a sealed can of soda. I mean, that just looks insane. Also, big shout out for Illusionist. I don't think you can get them anymore, but it's worth speaking to them. Back in the day, they brought out the best gaff decks on the market. The Ultra Gaff deck and all of those, when they had Justin Miller and Daniel Garcia and Kayla Morelli and those guys working on routines. Some of those gaff deck routines were fantastic for street magic. They really were. Talking about Illusionist, they made their name back in the day from putting out routines that were really based on capitalizing on the street magic trend. So look at a lot of their older stuff, like the Ninja series, Brad Christian's Ninja and Ninja 2, that sort of stuff is great for sort of hit and run street magic style stuff. If you want to look at more modern day routines, personally, I think the two best routines I've ever brought out for this style of magic is Keymaster and Chop, possibly the Apparition coin set. Those three work really well. Anything that is super, like I say, anything that's super visual, anything that just grabs people's attention and makes them freak out. To be honest, Card in the Box, Ambitious Card, would work brilliantly, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. A lot of rubber band stuff that happens right in the hands of the spectators would look great. And if you want more of a shock type thing, Hook that's been recently re-released by Penguin Magic. That's a great routine to go for. I definitely suggest Hook. Trying to think of something else. Some Rubik's Cube stuff would probably work really well. It depends on where you're performing and your character. If your character would keep... So I've got a friend called Tom Mullinger. His name's he performs as Jester Styles. He's a very cool style individual. You could shut your eyes and imagine he's got his own TV special. You really could. He's just got that look, right? I can't see him with a Rubik's Cube, because it kind of has a bit of a geeky type tendency, a bit of a toy type tendency, and his character is absolutely not geeky. So, and that's what I mean about character. You have to think about your character, right? But if your character could pull off a Rubik's Cube, then definitely some Rubik's Cube stuff is great. Outside of that, if we're talking about Rubik's Cubes, Magnet Zero by Henry Harrius and his team is amazing as well. There's a ton of stuff. There's an absolute ton of stuff. Go classic, build to impossible location, card to envelope, card to wallet, anything like that. Anything that hits them hard, happens in their hands, and ideally with their own objects. That's probably the best way to go with it. Okay, so the next question is from Curtis Waynes. And Curtis says, "Hi Craig, I'd like to learn some basic Okito box stuff. I get the concept of the essential turnover move, but I don't know where to learn a good handling for that. Is it assumed that people know it already, or is in Roth's Expert Coin Magic? I don't have that book yet." I did a video on the hows and whys of coin boxes a little while ago on this channel, so you can go check that out, hows and whys of coin box magic. But I didn't really go through any moves. It wasn't a tutorial. It was just maybe an overview of coin box magic, if that makes sense. I am planning on putting a bunch of coin box stuff on the Netrix at some point in the not too distant future. So it's worth looking out for that. Because I'm going to be doing like big sections on coin box magic. And here's a spoiler for you. I'm working with Alakazam on a Blackpool 2024 release. So it's a way off yet. It's almost a year away. And if I can get everything ready in time, and I'm currently working on it and refining bits and pieces, it's going to be my version of the Okito box, which is very, very different to the original Okito box. But you're able to do the same moves, but it's got other stuff built into it. And it's something that I've been working on now for about a year, but I think we can probably get it ready for Blackpool 2024. But in terms of if you don't want to go on the Netrix, obviously David Roth's Expert Coin Magic is the best option for it. David was the market leader when it came to Okito box magic. He really was. Doug Brewer has a book called Coin Box Deceptions, I think it's called, which is a great book, all about magic with Okito boxes. And then if you go into Copeland Coins, they make some of the best Okito boxes in the world, bar none, and they have a couple of downloads all about Okito box magic, which are exceptional. By Rooster, I believe, is one of the guys that put those together. So it's worth checking out that as well. So go check out Copeland Coins. You can get a download and you can learn some really cool material from there. And the guys at Copeland Coins are exceptional. They really are. So those are a few good sources. Trying to think of anywhere else. I saw a really good walk around coin magic book once. Where did I see it? I'll see if I can find out and let you know in the comments below. But yeah, that's what I'd suggest. Copeland Coins. I'll tell you something as well. Justin Miller, I don't know when he's going to put it out, but about a year ago, Justin showed me some amazing coin box stuff using muscle passes that I'd not seen before. And there was some incredible stuff that Justin was putting together. He'd really put a tweak on it that I'd never seen before. So I don't know when Justin's bringing that sort of stuff out, but if he ever does, keep an eye out for that, because Justin's work on the Okito box is incredible. Okay, so the next question is from Justin Hutchins, and Justin says, "Hi Craig, lately I've been drawn into practicing Charming Chinese Challenge, but other than Choi Hooser's and Mario Lopez's latest version, is there anywhere else I might learn different handlings or routines? Thanks." Well, a couple of weeks ago on the Craig and Ryland review show, I reviewed a jumbo Charming Chinese Challenge, which I thought was really good. And I've actually started using that, and that's been getting some great reactions at gigs. So you can look into that. That was on the Craig and Minor Review Show. It was like a jumbo Charming Chinese Challenge. I gotta be honest with you, as much as I love Mario Lopez, I didn't think that it was a massive leap forward in compared to the original Charming Chinese Challenge. His trick, the challenge, I haven't reviewed it yet. It's in my review pile. The reason I haven't reviewed it is because I wanted to get it perfect before I actually reviewed it. I wanted to actually, obviously, perform everything on the show, and I wanted to do a good performance of it. But to be honest, I've been very unmotivated to learn it or has put any effort into learning it. And one of the reasons is I just don't think it adds anything to the plot. I mean, I think that the original Charming Chinese Challenge is just almost as perfect a routine as you can get in every single way. And Mario's version, you know, there's a couple of really visual moments, but in order to get to that visual moment, you're having to bring a gaffed coin in. And the gaff uses the method that most laymen would think of if they were trying to work out how that trick worked. So why would you actually routine it that way? I don't understand. Now, obviously, Mario can make it look good because Mario can make anything look good because he's Mario Lopez. He's a freaking genius. But to be honest, I'd like to know if anybody has actually bought Mario's version and is actually performing it, or has taken Mario's version and replaced Charming Chinese Challenge by Choi Hooser with Mario's version, because I don't think anybody will have, because frankly, it's not as good, in my opinion. And that's somebody who spent the last month and a half playing with it, working with it. I just don't think it, you know, for the extra couple of moments that it adds, I just don't think it's worth it. I've never seen anything, frankly, that beats the original Charming Chinese Challenge. I've been working on a version for ages with keys, because that's my thing, keys, right? So I've been working on a version for ages with keys, but even that isn't anywhere near as good as the Choi Hooser version, which is why it's never seen the light of day. But let me know in the comments. Does anyone know of a version that's better than Choi's? I would love to know about it. So the next question is by Seth Howard, and Seth says, I've got an idea for a gimmick I haven't seen, but I want to do some research before investing in prototypes. Would you be willing to read an email about the idea I have? And if so, where would I send it? I know you're extremely busy and time is valuable, so if it's not possible, I understand. Yeah, I would absolutely love to read it. I can't guarantee I'll get to the email straight away. The problem is sometimes people send me an email and I might be in the middle of a shoot for a couple of days, or I might be really busy in the office or something like that, where it's just not possible to see a lot of this stuff that comes through. But I always get back to people eventually. But yeah, by all means, send it to craig@magictv.org. That'll go directly through to me. That's Craig, C-R-A-I-G, @magictv, MAGICTV.org. I'd love to read it, and you're doing the right thing. You know, you want to research this stuff. I remember building prototypes for a trick oh my God, this was in the old days, probably about 15 years ago now. I spent a ton of money on making prototypes that looked beautiful, and then I found out that somebody had done it a year before, and it was the equivalent of throwing money down the toilet. So you're absolutely doing the right thing. You want to reach out to people that you know that you can trust, and ask them for their opinion. So yeah, not just me, but reach out to anybody that you know that you can trust. That's always the wise thing to do. Okay, so the next question is again from Seth Howard, and Seth says, are there any active greats in mentalism that's American? I feel like everyone killing it in the field of mentalism right now is from the UK. I'm not really a mentalist guy. I'm from the UK, so there's another problem. If I sat down and researched this topic, I could probably put together a huge, massive list. But off the top of my head, Kenta Nepper is a pretty big name in mentalism. I mean, you gotta throw his name into the mix, right? He's a pretty big name in mentalism, and he's American, as far as I'm aware. Maybe I'm wrong. And Banachek, hasn't he got a show in Vegas at the moment? And like he literally wrote the book on mentalism and psychic touches, so you gotta throw a Banachek into there. I know that Colin Cloud is Scottish, but he's currently performing over in America. I don't know if that counts or not, but you know, Colin Cloud is part of the Shin Lim show in Vegas as well. And he's doing a great job over there. I don't know if you're going to let me have that or not, because he's obviously Scottish, but you know, he's over there in America doing his thing and doing a great job. I don't know. Obviously, I would have said Max Maven. I can't say that now. There's got to be more. There will be more. Somebody's going to write down in the comments a list of like hundreds of American mentalists. And if I'd sat down and researched this, I probably could do as well. Maybe I need to do like a 5x5, the top 5 American mentalists or something. Because there's way more. I can't remember. Banachek springs instantly to mind. Kenton Nepper springs instantly to mind. Excuse me. Other than that, I'm out. Let me know in the comments down below. There's got to be more. I just can't think of it. Okay, so the next question is from Alexandro Pericoli. And Alexandro says, "Hi, Craig. It would be interesting to see a video on how to structure a well-done business plan. What do you think?" Yeah, I think that'd be a really good idea. You know, business plan is very important. It's that old expression, isn't it? If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And you know, there's the 7 P's: proper preparation and planning prevent piss poor performance. Planning is really important, and planning when it comes to business is even more important. Now, I have never put together a formal business plan, ever. That's just not something I've ever done. I've never needed to, because I've never taken a loan out for my business. A lot of the time, you set a business plan when you're wanting to go to the bank to get money to prove to them that it's a viable business, to get money to start the business. I've never actually done that. However, I do plan a lot. Both, I think that it's really important to have short-term, long-term, and medium-term, short-term, long-term, and medium-term plans. And if you don't plan stuff, then how do you know where you're going? You know, if you don't plan, then all you're doing is you're just aimlessly wandering around with nowhere to go. It's like being in a ship and there's no captain. It's just gonna there's no captain and there's no destination. You're just gonna go round and round and round in the ocean with nowhere to go and no clue where to go. So yeah, planning is really important, and it's also the thing that a lot of business owners, especially business owners in the entertainment industry, don't bother doing. So it'd probably be a really good video to do. Whether I do it on the Netrix or Magic TV, I'm not too sure. It feels more of a Netrix video for the silver level people, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Okay, so the next question is from Magic Elliot, and Magic Elliot says, by the way, how you doing, buddy? I hope you're well. Hi, Craig. Can you recommend any good quick release key rings to take keys off easily when showing key magic? Yes, I can. There's 2 of them, both of which are available exclusively, as far as I'm aware, from Vanishing Ink, and both of them are beautiful. I can't remember the name of them, but if you type Keymaster into Vanishing Ink, they'll both come up. I think there's one that's called like a double helix or something. I bought both of them. They're really nice. So those are the ones that I recommend. You can get them directly from Vanishing Ink, and they actually promote them as being perfect for use with Keymaster. And I have to be honest with you, absolutely correct. I was blown away by the quality. They do 100% work perfectly with Keymaster. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician. And Divishan Magician says, how can we get more young magicians to do classic magic, such as ungimmicked coin tricks or cups and balls? Most of the time it's because they don't even know where to learn these things, because the only place they learn from is YouTube. Apart from myself and Ryland, I've never seen a young magician do the cups and balls. No, neither have I. Not very often anyway. I don't know. The trouble is, it's part of the YouTube generation. It's in every industry. You know, people that are coming into magic, they want instant gratification. They want to buy the latest and greatest trick. They get the emails from the magic shops with the latest trick, and it's rarely a cups and balls. It's always a incredible gimmick that will do all the work for you. And I think that's the problem with magic these days. The problem with magic these days is everybody is wanting the easy way. They're wanting the easy approach to everything. They're wanting it as easy as possible. Now, I'm all for simplicity, absolutely, 100% of the time. But I think these days, you can become a very, very successful magician by not knowing any sleight of hand at all, not ever studying the classics of magic, and just focusing instead on buying a bunch of clever gimmicks and routining them together into an act. And it's a shame, really, because when I got into magic, I was brought up reading and learning the classics, and it's what I've got Ryland to do. If you look at Ryland's videos that he puts on his channel, on his YouTube channel, and you see all the live performances from the various different shows that he does, and if you look at the stuff that he puts on Instagram, right? If you look at all of that stuff, you'll see that a lot of the time he's performing the classics of magic. Coins Across, Matrix, Cups and Balls, Egg Bag. Even Dancing Cane is a classic of magic, right? And it was nice to see Killian on Britain's Got Talent do Silk to Signed Silk and Apple, which is another classic of magic. I remember seeing Jeff Hobson do that first many, many years ago and getting blown away by it, not having a clue how he did it. And then seeing Scott Alexander's version many years later, where there was no hole through the apple, and that was even more amazing. And I think if we studied the classics of magic, then we'd be in a much better place than we are right now. Unfortunately, you can't force anybody to learn the classics. You can't. I do believe that you become a better, more rounded magician if you learn the classics. But look at somebody like Matt, for example. Matt doesn't know how to do a Cups and Balls. Matt doesn't know. Matt's going out and killing it and doing a great job with a very limited repertoire. Now he's growing, and every day he's learning more and he's learning more and he's learning a lot of sleight of hand and so on and so forth. But he's still got a very limited repertoire. You couldn't get him to do a Matrix. You couldn't get him to do a Coins Across. You probably couldn't get him to do a Cups and Balls. But it doesn't mean he's not an incredible performer, because he brings something else to the table when it comes to presentation, when it comes to his approach to magic. So, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world that people don't perform the classics anymore. I don't know. All I know is I taught Ryland, and because I learnt the classics, that's what I wanted Ryland to do as well. But dude, you're on the right track, because if you're learning the classics as well, I personally think that's the best way to go. Andy Woodhouse says, I presume double trouble is the trick where two performers get the cards picked separately and then they find the opposite performer's selected card. Right, that's what double trouble is it. On the previous week's Q&A, I had somebody say, hey, Ryland and you should do double trouble from Simon Lovell, and I had no idea what that is. Now you've said that, Andy, thank you very much. I know exactly what you're talking about. In fact, I remember seeing Jeff Hobson and Simon Lovell do this routine. And if you don't know what the routine is, it's really great. So they're standing on opposite sides of the stage, and it's kind of almost like they're doing the same trick at the same time. So they're getting two people to pick a card. They're leaning in the audience, getting two people to pick a card. The cards are picked, they're signed, they're lost in the pack, shuffled, and then they do a card to mouth at the same time. And then when the card comes out the mouth, he says, hey, is that your card? And they go, no. And the other person said, and they're doing it at the same time, which makes it look so funny. Is that your card? And the answer's no. And then they just run and change places. And he goes, is this your card? And they go, yeah. Really great routine. Really, really great routine. You're right. You're right. That is something that me and Ry... The problem is, me and Ry don't really do a two-person show. And I never wanted to do a two-person show. Ever since Ryland wanted to become a magician, and not just a hobby, but wanted to become a professional magician, I encouraged him to find his own path. It would have been easy for me to go and drag him on stage with me, and I did when he was 4 or 5. I absolutely did. But it would have been so much easier for me to do that, and he would have had a much easier ride. But I insisted right from day one. Excuse me. I insisted right from day one that if he wanted to make a name for himself in this industry, if he wanted to get ahead, then he has to do it standing on his own 2 feet. And I'm glad I've done that, because he's achieved more than I have. Let's be honest right now. He's achieved more than I have. He's been on national TV. I've never been on national TV. He got to the semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent. I never got to the semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent. You know, he's performed twice on the gala show at the Magic Circle. I've never performed on the gala show at the Magic Circle. He's performed at the IBM in the gala show. I've never performed at the IBM in the gala show. The list goes on and on and on. He's performed at the gala show at the Blackpool Magic Convention. I've never done that. So he's done a ton of stuff that I've never done, and he's 10. So I'm glad he went his own way. But it'd be a great trick for us to do if we ever put a 2-person show together. But right now, he's got his path, and I've got my path, and my goal really is to just support him. And I'm at an age now, I'm 47, I'm almost 50. That's really, really, really shit. But I'm almost 50. And you know, I've had great times in my career. I've had massive highs. I've had some lows, but I've had some really big highs as well. And I still perform at a very high level. But my ultimate goal right now, my big goal more than anything else in life, is to help Ryan achieve his goals. And as long as he wants to be a magician, and as long as he wants to continue to want to do magic, I'll continue to support him and do whatever I can in my power to help him achieve the success that he wants to achieve. Okay, so the next question is from Reese Whitehead. And Reese says, "Hi Craig, know you love your gaff decks." Yes, I do. But what are the different types of stripper decks? And is there a difference, such as double-edged, negative stripper, belly, in stripper, etc.? I'm gonna take the fifth on this question. I'm not going to answer this question. And the reason is I've got a video coming out soon on stripper decks and the different types of stripper decks that there are and what the differences is, because a lot of people don't know the difference between one type of stripper and another. So I'm going to, I've got a video planned, I've written it out, I just need to film it, that goes through all of those differences. So that's going to be coming soon, look out for that. But yeah, and that'll answer all of your questions. So I'm gonna not spend any time on it now, but look for that video dropping soon. Okay, so the next question is from Erin Barger, and Erin says, "Can you do a video of the top 10 best Sharpie and pen tricks and gimmicks, please?" I think that'd be a great idea, absolutely. This is perfect for a follow-up video from the Q&A. There's some amazing Sharpie tricks, absolutely amazing Sharpie tricks, and yes, 100%, I will put that video together, and you better believe that Chop is going to be in there. Okay, the next question is by Chris Harrelson, and Chris says, one question, when will you be in the States again? Good question. So Chris, I'm going back to the States next for Magic Live. Now, I'm actually going over before Magic Live, because I'm going to be spending a few days in Columbus with the guys from Penguin at the P3 Studios, and I'm going to be filming at a couple of other projects there for them. So I'm going to be filming 2 or 3 projects. So I'm going to be there for a few days. I might even be doing a show in their theatre while I'm over there for a particular project that we're doing. So if you want to see me perform a full show, then I might be doing it just before Magic Live in Columbus. Look out for the Eventbrite links on the P3 Theatre. I'm just organising that with the guys from Penguin now. Then I'm taking an internal flight over to Vegas. I'm going to be at Magic Live for Vegas. Then I'm going to be coming back. I might be coming out to Los Angeles again later on in August for something completely unrelated to Penguin, but that's up in the air at the moment. I'm not too sure. I'll know more next week. And then I will be visiting Sacramento at some point with Murphy's, but that'll be more towards the tail end of the year. So probably 3 more times this year I'm going to be going over to America. And I might be having a family holiday in October. I might be taking my entire family over just for fun to America, in which case that'll probably be Florida, I reckon. But yeah, that's when I'm going to be over in the States again. Oh, there is one other one. Before I go to the P3 Theatre, I might be doing something else in America as well and performing somewhere. I'm just waiting to see if that comes off. But if it does, I'll be performing at a fairly well-known venue, and that'll be before. So I'll be like literally in one place, then I'll be in Columbus, then I'll be in Vegas. But if that happens, I'll let you know. Okay, so the next question is from Captain Collerbry. And Captain Collerbry says, What's the best trick of Blackpool 2023? What's the best trick of Blackpool 2023? Wow. Wow. Best trick of Blackpool 2023. I'm sure I did a list on this, but I might not have. From memory. Now all the dust has cleared and all of the, it's all settled. What is the best trick of 2023 Blackpool Magic Convention? I would say, if it's something that I saw, it would have to be... Okay, if it's something that I saw, it would have to be Julio Montoro and Julio Monturo's new trick that he's bringing out with John Miranda, which is just incredible, and I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it, but it's going to be the trick of the year. There's nothing else that's even going to come close. If it's a trick that you can buy, can I be cheeky and say the apparition coin set? No, just joking. If it's a trick that you can buy, oh man, there's so many really good ones. I don't know. It's hard to say. I like the coffee break thing, the coffee cup, chop cup. That was really good, like really good. There was some really great material. I can't really say. There was so much really good stuff. It's difficult to say. I'd probably say Lucid. I'd say Lucid by Penguin Magic and Roddy McGee, which was Roddy's card routine with a clear freezer bag, which was absolutely amazing. And he was selling a boatload of them. Now, Penguin haven't officially released that yet, but look out for it. Look out for Lucid coming soon from Penguin Magic, because that was an absolute killer. And the final question today is from Adrian Suter. And Adrian says, I watched a recent Magic Viewpoint video on the trick that doesn't work in the English language. I'd love to see more videos on international issues. For example, an interview with a German or French or Spanish or Chinese magician about their experiences with adapting tricks to their language or cultural background would be great. I agree. That would be amazing. I can imagine it's a nightmare. I can imagine it's a real nightmare. I know that we've had people... I've released stuff through Alakazam that's very... focused on English language, stuff like trivia, and there's other gossip is another example. And we've had people ask us if we're going to bring it out in another version for a different country, and it's just not financially viable for Alakazam, I don't think. So I think there are a lot of issues. I'm not an expert at it, but from what I've seen, there's a lot of issues. Like, I've got another trick coming out with Alakazam at some point this year, and it's very much made for the UK market. Now, people that are outside the UK could definitely get it and use it and would love it, but it's really an EDC item that's mainly aimed at the UK market. And I think that sometimes that's okay. I think sometimes that's okay. You'll never see somebody like Murphy's coming out with something like that, or Penguin, because their whole business model involves pushing it out to every single country around the world, as many people as possible. But so, you know, you're more likely to see stuff like that in a very localized place. But yeah, I can imagine there's some issues there. I'll see if I can put a video together and speak to some people that I think might have an insight into it. I think it'd be quite an interesting video, Adrian. So there you go, guys. That's another video in the bag, another Q&A in the bag. Once again, thank you once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again later on this evening with a review show special at 9 o'clock. And don't forget, I'll be back next Wednesday, if you like reviews, with Ryland, with another Craig and Ryland review show. And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and join the hottest ticket in Magic. It's called the Netrix. It's www.thenetrix.com. It's where you can get access to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tricks and sleights and moves, theory, descriptions, live videos, and more. Go check out the Netrix for more information, but I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.